everybody. So today I got to see Bridget Jones's Baby. It is the third in the Bridget Jones's series, and this film had a really interesting backstory. It had been in production and talks and everything since way back since 2011, and at that time Paul Feig was going to direct it, and it went through like all these different hands, all these different writers. It ended up back with Sharon Maguire, who directed the first film, and Helen Fielding doing the script, not based on one of her novels, but based on her articles that she had written for The Independent, 2005. So, and then it just kind of went through all these different hands until finally it started and got made and we got to see it. And this summer has been kind of the summer of the unnecessary sequel or the disappointing sequel, and I really didn't like the second Bridget Jones's movie. I thought it was super contrived, super silly, and just a little bit racist actually with the way that some of the Asian characters were portrayed. I didn't really like that. So I didn't like that, but would I like this one? Well, the trailers came out. Didn't really care for them, and I was also a little bit nervous because Renee Zellweger, she was, as Bridget Jones, she was a bigger girl. She was kind of a mess. Like, would I believe her after she's had all this plastic surgery? She looks just so different. Would I buy her again as this part? I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 this summer, and I hated that because I just thought it was running through all the gags of the previous film, and every scene of the film had to have the whole family in it, and it was just like, oh. And so I was nervous about this film. I didn't think it looked very good, but I had a screener, so I drove quite a ways actually to go see it, and you know what? I was pleasantly surprised by this film. I laughed a ton at this movie. I don't know if it's just my expectations were really, really low. I don't know, but whatever the reason, I was laughing. And I don't know if it's because Helen Fielding took us off of her columns, so maybe it just felt a little bit more sort of real, because whenever they kind of went back to the plot of Bridget having this baby, with these two possible dads, it wasn't that good. The plot's not that good, but oh man, there were just some gags that made me laugh. I laughed really hard, and Renee Zellweger is actually really good in it, and they kind of take the whole looks different thing out of the equation really quickly, so that was good. They just sort of explain it and you forget, and so everybody's very charming in this, the whole cast, but the thing that I liked the most was all of these scenes with her working at this kind of it's like this news station that's trying to be all hip and cool, and they have all these hipsters, and and it's kind of like what Anne Hathaway's company was trying to be in The Intern, but this was these people kind of trying to impose themselves on this it was a hard-hitting journalism thing, and now it's become sort of the social media whatever, and there is this woman that is the anchor there, and she was so hilarious. The actress's name is Sarah Soleimani. She plays this woman named Miranda, and I thought she was hilarious. Every time that she was on screen, she made me laugh. This is the kind of thing, they did a couple of gags where the Renee Zellweger character is feeding her lines for interviews, and I just thought, oh, those were so funny. There was one where they're supposed to be interviewing this dictator because of human rights violations, and it turns out they're interviewing the chauffeur because of a mix-up, and so she's feeding lines to the news anchor that are questions that are meant for the dictator, she's asking the chauffeur, and I don't know, I just thought that was really funny, and I don't know, there's just a ton of gags, really made me laugh. What can I say? It just was funny. And so it's the kind of movie that you either laugh and you think is good, or you don't laugh and then you think it's really lame, because it's not like the plot is so great. But I appreciated the fact that they didn't just have all of the returning characters just like screaming at you all the time. They had them sort of intermixed in. Like, you'd get a little scene with her dad, a little scene with her mom. You'd get all the different characters, whether it was the new characters like Miranda or Emma Thompson as her doctor was very funny. And, you get just enough of the plot, because it's really a silly plot, but I don't know, it was a good sequel in that way, that it had all of these moments, but it wasn't shoving them in your face and wasn't leaning on them for the jokes. Like, most of the jokes that were involving sort of the previous films weren't that funny. They kind of added warmth and heart to the film, because you did care about these characters, but most of the really funny jokes were in the new characters, whether it's Emma Thompson or whether it's at the new studio. It really made me laugh. And everybody's great in it. Very charming, very charismatic. Renee Zellweger, Colin Firth, Patrick Dempsey is charming, kind of bland, but charming, I think, in it. I love romantic comedies, and so that's also a sort of another notch in its belt for me. And I really do love the first Bridget Jones's, and Renee Zellweger was nominated for an Oscar for that movie, so that says a lot for a romantic comedy. And it is, this is an R-rated movie, so it does have a fair amount of profanity. Bridget Jones's Baby, an A-, because I was literally laughing most of the movie. It just, for whatever reason, it just hit me at the right time, and it just made me laugh that much. So, people might not respect that rating because it's a comedy and a romantic comedy, but I really liked it. So let me know what you think of this movie if you get to see it. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.